eno ye Extreme Media UJ. Subscribe for all updates.
Disqualification that has been going on for the different candidates, which seems to be, not from me, but from other parties, seem to be biased. Why am I saying this? Is because the disqualification that is going on, other parties say, is only in the favor of the ruling party, NRM. On that, do you feel like, because we've seen people from NUP, people from FDC saying that the disqualification that is going on is painting a picture? Even the person from NRM in question is Sechikubo, who said that with the disqualification going on from different candidates, they don't feel like the Electoral Commission will deliver a free and fair election. And then, how many people have been disqualified? Yes, you say that the commission is still doing its work, but so far, how many people have been disqualified, and how many have been declared unopposed? On polling day 15th next month, the CDF came and said people should vote and go back home. The Attorney General came out in Parliament and said you should stay 20 meters away from the polling area. As Electoral Commission, what's your stand on this? And also, what's the picture that you have as Justice Byabakama on polling day? As you're standing here, how is it going to be? Paint us a picture for us. And then, in regards to elections, do you feel like there's been enough sensitization in regards to Electoral Commission for people to understand that the voting is going to take place? Why am I saying this? Is because people have punched holes this time around in voter education from the Electoral Commission, which is not compared to 2021 as it was. Last year, I was around, and I remember Bukenya was outside. There were trucks that are having flyers and banners. This time around, it seems like this has not been done. Speaking about biometrics, that's my last question. Hypothetically speaking, on the voting day, if the machine fails to work, what remedy do you have? Because remember, the voting ends at 4 p.m. What remedy have you put in place as Electoral Commission to ensure that the voting goes on, besides the machines being down? Thank you so much.
Raymond, you are the exception because you ask the first questions, but the rest will not be making long statements and treaties. Please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Hussein Samuel. I work with the Daily Monitor. My question is about the Electoral Commission adoption and manner of use of biometric voter verification system regulations 2025 by the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. From the best of my knowledge, the Minister says he made this regulation in accordance to the Electoral Commission Act, and the Section 12 subsection 1 of the Electoral Commission Act, if I read very well, it says that the Commission may, while doing its duties, apply the use of technology. May, they didn't say shall. We spoke to a number of MPs from opposition and NRM. They told us this act has never been amended to make it mandatory for EC to use this technology. So a minister coming up 2 weeks to the polls and bring a regulation basing on this act, we are wondering, is the EC conniving with the minister to impose an illegal law on Ugandans? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Natty Drade from PhotoSource News Agents, /Explore Africa magazine. My question is PhotoSource News Agents, /Explore Africa magazine. My question is, who is eligible voter? In case someone has lost his ID before the voting day, and is he allowed to vote? In case if he has his nil number, is he eligible? Thank you.
Good morning. I am Aloysius Byabakama. I'm from Mama FM. In your statements, you praised the government for giving you all the monies. Maybe you may need to remind us how much did you request? How much have you been given? Maybe, and How have you used it? Then, then you have been telling us or warning candidates how they should use, how they should behave in these campaigns. And one of the most things you said, they shouldn't block roads. And one of the candidates for NRM, that is Yoweri Museveni, has been seen actually seated in the road, or on the road. I don't know the correct language I should use there. So what do you say? Actually, all the campaigns belonging to that group, they are using the road the way they want and therefore sabotaging the traffic. So what is your say around there? Then this is just a by the way. We have been facing a problem here to get your voice when you are speaking. Part of the money, did you use it to buy these machines we have here? If so, are they of a good quality? Because your voice was breaking.
My name is Felix Cheyone, working with Sunrise newspaper. If you allow me to ask my Sunrise newspaper, allow me to ask my question is in Uganda, because ordinary people out there, they are in dilemma. Mkulu chairman, twali wano Madam Deputy n'atukkiriza okukozesa obuuma buno tulabe bwe bukola. Mu process yonna ey'okubukozesa ne tukizuula nti omuntu wa bulijjo ali eri ewaffe Kalungu singa taatwala obuvunaanyizibwa kulaba nga basikaaninga obululu bwobwo obusatu nga babusikaaninga point obetegereka bulungi nga babusikaaninga nti mu process ey'okumala okulonda bugenda kubeera mwe bayita invalid. Naye mubadde nga musomesa buno obulunga bugenda okubeera amashini bwe zinaakola ensonga y'okusikaaninga balitaninga ofiisi abamu baludde mu bifo ebyo myaka 5 ng'omanyi n'endowooza ez'ebyobufuzi ayinza okumanya nti egyo emyaka gironda gundi n'asalawo deliberately nti akakuunyuula n'akuunyuula n'abukuwa by end of exercise ne bubeera nga batuuka okuba tebubakola ki tebubalibwa mu bululu obukwakoze ki obwabaddewo mu kitabo mwali babukuunyudde ne babumuwa naye process temumanyi. Ekyo ekibuuzo kimu kyekiyinza okukolebwa. Waliwo etteeka nti nsobola omuwaabira kuba bwe mba nazze nembeerawo nennonda munoŋŋamba nti abalonzi abadde 3 gundi eyafunyeeko 2.5 eyinza okuba omuntu wa bulijjo alowooza nti awo walibaawo akazannyo awo wakati awo mu kusikaaninga awo mu kusikaaninga awo omuntu w'omudisqualifying ogamba nti ono yabaddewo naye lwaki obuvunaanyizibwa muwadde omuntu wa bulijjo mbuye atunule nga basikaaninga jjajjaawo weeri eri mu kyalo mbw atwale obuvunaanyizibwa alabe nga basikaaninga akalulu ke. Eyo point nkulu kuba after 15th byemu kubuuza ebigenda okubeera mu bantu nti nalonda naye saabitegeera. Ekibuuzo ekyokubimisa Lord Chair, bw'otunula mu history wa Electoral Commission yatandika mu 1958 nti ne bajja nga balonda naye waliwo ekizibu kimu ekitayogerwako mu Electoral Commission kuba wano wavaayo n'ogamba abantu ba killages tebaddamu kukkiriza fundraising during what elections. Naye tuyina emikwano eŋŋanda mu bitongole ebyokwerinda bikugamba nti bagenda omuwa assignment agenda akola omulimu ABCD baba mulaalise transfer ne promotion. Ebyo tebyogerwako buli bwoyimirira wano abantu mubeere bakkakkamu naye amagye ne poliisi enyaniriza gye yanirizamu okulonda si yenyaniriza y'omuntu wa bulijjo bo batunuulira transfer promotion. So point embaisa gyanduliza nnyo okuba apoliisi bakola bibakola nga bamanyi nti bonaakaana okukola mukama wo kyakuwadde head of unit bakutwala kabeera mayido teri ayagalayo bakutwala sese teri ayagalayo. So baagala mu bitundu nti nze nkomandinga eri eno bandabye nga nkuba abakibiina gundi. So ensonga eyo y'okuba nti n'ab'ebyokwerinda obuulira bannaddiini nti mukomye kino n'ab'okwerinda bakulinze obugambe kuba nti command oba ne chief of command gundi chief omukulu w'amagye omugambe nti wategedde eyo area yiyo weebale nnyo.
Thank you very much. Justice Chair, I'm called Dennis Kat. I work with Big Media Online. Mine is simple. I wanted to know, what does the law say about the candidates who campaign using the national flag. I'm asking this because I've seen some debates about NUP candidate using the national flag. It's not allowed, and as a lawyer, maybe you can guide us on that. Thank you.
Nayanza chairman. Amanya nze mwesigwa David nga nkola ne Galaxy TV. Waliwo ensonga y'obukonge. Ng'obukonge engaba gye babugabamu waliwo ng'amawulire nawe nga babugabira mu owa RDC. Kituufu si kituufu. Kyandibadde nga babugabira wa RDC. Ekyo kimu. Ekyokubiri, obukonge bwona bwo katebumala. Otuuka w'olondera ogenda okutuuka nga tebuliyo ne bagamba agenda mu kitundu ekyala. Ate n'ekitundu ekyala kye bakusindiseemu ogenda okutuuka nga tebuliyo. Kitegeeza nti weekanga ng'olondera Kampala akakonge ko ne kakulagira nti olina kulondera Wakiso. Ekintu ekyo kyogerako ki?
Shamshad Nalujja Bukedde TV. Ekibuuzo kyange ensonga ya disqualification isi bweva nerangira nti abagala okwesimbawo muleeta ebisaanyizo byabwe nsuubira baleeta ebisaanyizo byabwe byonna isi n'ebiyitamu ne verifyinga ne maa ne banominatinga naye ate muzino ennaku zino disqualification yesuuse kumpi buli kanaku wabeerawo gwe badisqualifyinza obuzibu bwaki isi teyetegereza mu kusooka kikimutulambule ku nsonga eyo.
Thank you, Lord Chair and the Commission. My name is Ramson Mihire. I work with NBS TV. You said you are issuing registers to candidates. When are you doing that? How many are you issuing to each candidate? You said the register shall be the basis for voting on that day. Those are your own words. We have a register being a basis. We have a machine being a basis. We also have a voter slip. Looks like the confusion is a lot. Then there is also a national ID. We're talking about a register, BVVK machine, national ID, voter slip. You're confusing Ugandans. Can I come without a national ID, without a voter slip, and I come as I am? And I'm verified by the machine and I vote. Can you clarify what is the importance of a register on that day, a voter slip, and the machine? About petitions, from when you started, you have been receiving petitions. Up to now, you're receiving petitions. You just said that yourself. You have made rulings. Rulings have been challenged. Some have been described as controversial. Do you find this as the most challenging election you have organized as the Commission, given the things that you have faced, petitions, abuses, the security issues out there? Do you find this as the most challenging election that you have organized? Voting to go home, voting to protect the vote. The law talks about 20 meters. The Commission has told people, vote and go home. The CDF has told people, vote and go home. The law tells people, vote and stand 20 meters. As the Electoral Commission, from what law do you draw that statement of vote and go home? And in your own words, would you say that it is illegal? Would the person be doing a wrong thing for them to vote and stand 20 meters? If they choose. Thank you, Chair.
Ekibuuzo kye bamaze okubuuza tokiddamu buuza ekikyo togamba nti nga gundi bw'ayogedde. If a question has been asked, don't repeat it to say that as they have said already.
Sawya Namwanje, Bukedde Print.
Please speak to the microphone.
Sawya Namwanje, Bukedde Print. Mr. Byabakama nkubuuza ku disqualification kuyitiridde ko kukoma ddi tukusuubirayo ne after the election. Kisoboka omuntu okwesimbawo
kozesa akazindaalo nnyabo.
Ekyokubiri kisoboka omuntu okwesimbawo process yonna yonna ey'okwesimbawo n'atuuka okuba campaign ne bamugamba mbu omulaliimu. Kisoboka omuntu okwesimbawo n'ayita mu process yonna yonna emukakasa n'atuuka ne bamugamba mbu bamuwanduddemu olw'okuba mu registry taliimu. Kesi twagiraba Bukedya. Thank you.
Ongeso Godwin Mark from UBC. Justice and the rest of the commission, protocol observed. So I want to thank you for the civic education levels that you've tried to do. They've really been good so far. But however, my main concern goes to the side of the marginalized groups. We have got the marginalized groups. I don't know, for example, the blind, the deaf, plus the PWDs. So a layman out there, deep down there, would wonder if at all he or she is part of the marginalized groups. They would like to know to what level or to what extent has the civic education been done to them, surely. Thank you so much.
Just perhaps for correction, they are not called, we don't have a group called Miss Ma.
Good morning. I'm called Lubega Hamidwasa from PAL FM. Mr. Chairman, last time we were here and we were taught about the machines that we are going to use during the elections. And you told us that there is some people who are being...
Let us try to listen to the questions, please. Let's have one press briefing here. So the people behind there were making noise. Please don't. Go ahead.
Anyway, my question, let me turn it to Luganda. Mr. Chairman, mbadde njagala okumanya ku muwendo omutuufu ogw'abantu abasomeseddwa akuuma kano akagenda okuba nga katuyambako mu kulonda kubanga we twali wano twasembayo kubanga tuwulira nti muyina abantu bemusomesa. So far wetutuukidde akaseera kano mwakasomesa abantu bameka abagenda okuba nga bayambako mu police stations zonna zonna ziri mu ggwanga. Neyanziza.
Good afternoon, Ssentebe Ssebo tweyanziza. Ekibuuzo kyange kiri ku nsonga ey'obukonge. Tulabye ku mikutu gya mugatta bantu. Erinnya lyange Nzerwanga okuva ku Hope TV. Tulabyeko obukonge ku mikutu egya social media ng'omuntu omu alabikira mu bukonge bubiri. Ate ng'amannya ge gamu naye nga bulimu obuntu butono nnyo features ezaawukana naye ng'omuntu y'omu yennyini nnyini. Ensonga eyo mugyogerako ki oba mbanga mwagirabyeko?
Okay, wanyimirire bwaki. Wamala. Oh, very good. Mwebale nnyo. Let me start with the last question. First of all, let me start with the question. Is it possible in life or in Uganda to have people with the same names? Is it possible? Is it possible for those people who have the same names to have the same date of birth? You also not agreed. It is possible. Possible to have the same names, even the same date of birth. But the facial features are different. The Kinkumu, is it possible to have the same people having the same thumbprint? And we are saying every voter is going to be biometrically identified using the thumbprint or the facial. We have looked at some of these things that have been posted. And you just look at people bearing the same names, same date of birth, that is all. The facial appearance is different. the polling location is different. We have seen it. So for us, we are saying, as far as the commission is concerned, the fundamental distinguishing mark of future will be the biometrics, the thumbprint. Because we are told scientifically, you cannot have two people sharing the So, we want to assure the people of Uganda that the features, the biometric system we have introduced is going to address all those issues. Nobody will be allowed to vote more than once. And it is possible for people to share names and dates of birth, but you cannot share your fingerprints. That's what we are told scientifically. So that will be what will sort out who is Byabakama Mugenyi, born on this day, and Byabakama Mugenyi, born on this day. Are they two different Byabakama Mugenyis, or are they the same? So that will sort it out. And in the database of the National Voters Register, we have the thumbprint of every voter. If we don't have your thumbprint, if by mistake or by whatever, during your registration with the NIRA, if your thumbprint was not captured or it cannot read, at least your face should be there. Because you got a national ID. If you got a national ID, it means NIRA took your photograph, they stored your photograph in the National Information Register database. That's the one we utilized to register you as a voter if you are 18 years or above. So to me, that's not a challenge. That's not a challenge. Now, on the people who have been trained, we informed the country through the media here that, one, we trained our personnel here at EC headquarters, those in the field who are going to be the managers of these processes. We recruited 1,053 citizens. Those citizens whom we have trained are going to train the 50,739 BVVK operators, then 50,739 presiding officers, so about 100,000 plus, who are going to be operating this BVVK kit at a polling station. So that training program is still ongoing. We first got the trainers whom we trained. These trainers now will train the operators who are going to be deployed at every polling station with a kit. So we are very, very alert and alive to the fact that for this kit to operate efficiently and optimally, the people going to operate the kit must be well trained and well equipped with know-how in order to render service that is required to operationalize this kit efficiently. Marginalized groups, where we know this is a challenge indeed, we work through the various groups in those areas where the persons with disabilities are located, and we inform our field officers to have programs to reach out to them. You see, the issue of persons with disabilities, first of all, you must know where to find them, where to locate them. Secondly, you cannot invite them to one place or location in order to voter educate them, because some of them need to come with helpers and so on and so forth. And to do that, therefore, there's an expense that has to be incurred. But we make every effort to ensure every citizen who is an eligible voter is not left out on voter education, sensitization, and mobilization by the Commission. Now, I will talk generally about disqualifications, I think that has been raised by a number of people. First of all, we have noted the following. Or we want you to note the following. The Electoral Commission is not the one which originates these petitions. It's not the Electoral Commission which originates or files these petitions. The petitions have originated by individuals, either voters in a particular area or candidates who have been nominated with the other person he or she is complaining against. And the law allows that. Thirdly, the law says that after nomination, any voter or individual or candidate has the liberty to scrutinize the papers of a nominated candidate. They have that liberty. And if the person observes certain anomalies in the nomination papers of this individual, then he or she has the right to petition the Electoral Commission, challenging the nomination of this individual, pointing out the anomalies, the alleged anomalies realized on that paper. People are saying, but you are the people who nominate these people. Then why should later on issues be found with their nomination papers? Granted. But if it were that the nomination is wholly and completely 100% normal or acceptable, then the law would not have provided for people to complain in the first place. The law would not have provided that you can still question the nomination of this individual. Secondly, we have our teams which carry out this verification process at the tally centers, at the nomination centers. They look at the signatures, they look at the names of supporters, and so on. They look at the papers. But I want you to appreciate, when you present your academic papers at the nomination center, the returning officer does not have ample time to cross-check whether the papers you have presented are authentic or not. The time is not there. Mind you, the law sets 2 days for nominations. And the numbers, I'm told this recent nomination process, the numbers were so high. Now, and therefore our people are running against time to complete the process. So it is very probable in that context, therefore, some of the issues that would have been observed or noted if there was ample time can go through or escape through. That's why the law says let other people come and look at these papers and see whether they were okay or whether there were issues. So for us, it's a normal process. And therefore, it should not be said, you are the people who nominated these people, and now you are the ones disqualifying them. Why? Otherwise, the law would have said, once the commission has accepted the nomination of an individual, therefore, that nomination cannot be questioned. No. But the law says, no, inspect the papers. If there are issues, you complain to the commission. The other thing I want you to note, there is raised vigilance. People have become more vigilant. Voters have become more vigilant. Candidates have become more vigilant in scrutinizing the papers of people who have been nominated. They have become more vigilant now. And that's why they have filed, how many petitions have we had so far? I think about over 400 or something, over 300, between 300 and 400. People are more vigilant now. And therefore, to me, that is okay because they are following the law in scrutinizing or inspecting the papers and pointing out any anomalies. Other than going to the media and then you attack somebody, Teyasoma, Teyakolaki, I've looked at his or her papers, I find he did not have A-level, he did not have this, and so on and so forth. They are following the due process of challenging the nominations of these people. Fourthly, The Commission, in entertaining these petitions, gives every person the right of hearing. We invite the petitioner, we invite the person complained against to come either with their lawyers or witnesses and whatever evidence they have to back up their claim or to support their nomination. We have been giving them a hearing. But there are those who don't turn up. We refuse even when we inform them. They don't show up. And even in the courts of law, there is a procedure. If it is proved that you were notified or served that you are required to appear in court on such a day for your case and you don't show up, and there is sufficient proof in that regard, the case can be had ex parte without your presence. And the court will decide the case on the basis of the evidence of the one party who has showed up. So even in this particular case, in the majority of cases, the parties were turning up. Even those, the respondents or those complained about, were turning up. And we do accord everybody a hearing. And we receive whatever evidence they have. It is only, and we allow them to make even submissions or arguments, closing arguments, either through their lawyers or by themselves. It is only after that that we take a decision. We are not going to close our eyes if we find there were illegalities in the nomination of an individual. If I may highlight some of them, the law says that your nomination paper must have the names of the necessary number of supporters with their villages indicated, NIN number or voter number, with their occupation indicated, and signature. But some of them were presenting papers without signatures. And the law has said if a nomination paper has not been signed in accordance with the law, then it is void. It's null and void. We are not going to close our eyes to that. Some of them were putting supporters of persons who are confirmed to have died. They put their names there. The relative of the dead person comes and says, this person died. Some of them, academic qualifications. Anyway, I don't want to go to the details and the reasons, but the whole point I'm making is that there is raised vigilance on the part of the voters to understand, to ascertain, to question the eligibility of a nominated candidate, and as a result, people are following the law, complaining against these nominations. The commission has been giving the parties a hearing. It is only after that we make a decision. I think that addresses the issue of disqualifications. Yes, the law does not put a cap or a stop or a timeline on when we should hear these petitions. Because the Constitution says one of our functions is to hear electoral-related complaints before and during polling. Even on polling day, one can file a complaint about the process, and the commission is required to entertain that complaint and take a decision. It is only after the polling has closed, the results have been declared, and so on, that the powers of the commission cease. But if there are any complaints regarding what transpired during polling day, then that matter goes to the courts of law for them to decide. That's why you have election petitions filed challenging the outcome of an election. I think I've answered that one. Now on the go home or stay matter or aspect. First of all, the commission works in line with the law. The commission is alive and aware of that provision of the law that says voters can stand 20 meters away from polling station. We have said, be that as it may, let us look at the practical realities. One, in 2020, we had some polling stations in 2021, sorry. We had some polling stations. I had thought I would come with the statistics here, but I look for my paper, I will get it and be able to share it with the members of the public. Where some polling stations, the Electoral Commission was not able to declare or to announce the results. Why? Because the people who had gathered around the polling station started some altercation or some kavuyo. Either fight among themselves, or it was deliberately organized or orchestrated, and in the process of this altercation between themselves, they invaded the polling station, they grabbed the ballot box, they all destroyed the materials, and therefore there was nothing the Electoral Commission could either count or declare at that polling station. Secondly, in 2020, we also received reports in some polling stations. There were a number of people who were around and their conduct was intimidating. They were intimidating some voters whom they perceived to be voting for a particular candidate or party. We have that also. There's one of them, I talked to one of the Ugandans who told me, I think he was voting from a polling station in Luzira, that he was made to understand before going to the polling station. He said there is a group of very hostile youth, I don't want to mention the party they say that man said they belong to, who are scaring voters. You come, they look at you with the glazed eyes, hostile eyes, and so on. So this man said, for me, I will die with some of them. He got a hammer and put it in his jacket and then proceeded to the polling station. When they tried to intimidate them, he said, for me, you play with me. Before you finish me, I will have finished some of you. Now, we said, thirdly, we have also said, in some of these polling stations, especially in urban areas, the places are so squeezed. They are so small. That even the distances, if you look at the law prescribes the distance between the first table, the second table, and the third table. The law says the distance between the first table where the voters report and where the BVVK kit and the ballot papers are should be the next table where the polling takes place from where the basin is, should be 15 meters from that first table. Then from this second table where the basin is to the third table where the ballot box is, it should be 10 meters. Then from that one to where the person who is supposed to ink your thumb or whatever it is should be 10 meters. When you look at some of these polling stations, that distance is not even adequate to be strictly adhered to. Now, we say, if a polling station has 600 voters and they all turn up to vote, really, you tell them to hang around. Yes, the law says they can hang around 20 meters away. But even implementing that will be a very big challenge because of lack of space. So either people may crowd on the road, which is leading to the polling station, or they may find themselves positioned in such a way that they will not observe the 20 meters from this polling table. And we're saying that might and another point we pointed out, or we wanted people to appreciate. You have 8 presidential candidates. Each one of them has 2 agents. You have 5 or 10 members of candidates for parliament. Each is entitled to 2 agents. Woman member of parliament, may about 4 or 5. In this sense, you have at one polling station in total about, on average, 15 candidates. Those are already 30 agents. Ladies and gentlemen, already there is a crowd at the polling station. And those are allowed inside the polling station, the agents. The people who are pushing for the people to remain around are saying that you have to remain around to protect our vote, to safeguard our vote. That is the reason they are pushing that keep around so that you protect or safeguard your vote. But we are saying, if your concern is protection of the vote or safeguarding the vote, then there are already people who are authorized in law to do that. And these are the agents of the candidates. And those are the agents who are already allowed inside the polling station right from the hour the polling station opens until counting, until close of the polling station. You have 30 agents. Those are more than enough protectors. Then you have observers. You have accredited observers and accredited agents about political parties. You already have enough. Then we also said, look at it this way. You have people supporting different candidates. It's a high-octane election. The stakes are so high. Every voter believes in the strength of his or her candidate. You are telling these people to be in one place from morning until evening. How are you going to maintain order among these people? How will you prevent arguments and disagreements breaking out among them? How will you prevent them from exchanging blows or becoming violent? As one seeks to say, we have won you, we have defeated you, we are winning here, and an argument. Before you know it, there's a terrible argument, physical fight, and then the materials or the polling station is disrupted. So that's why for us as a commission, we are saying that it would be appropriate if people first went home so that you will leave room for those who have not yet voted to come and vote. Then when the time for counting comes, you can come and stand at the 20 meters and be able to observe how the voting is counting is taking place. But to keep people who subscribe to different political parties, who support different candidates in one place for so many hours, and you tell me that they are going to be civil, they are going to be calm, like we are in a church setting where they say sit down, then you sit. Let us sing this hymn, then you sing. Let us pray, you all pray. Who is going to have that kind of order implemented? So that's why we are saying the commission should not be misunderstood. Let me repeat. The commission should not be misunderstood. When we advise people to first go home, we are saying we want a peaceful election. We want to give an opportunity to every voter to turn up and vote. Can we live a free environment? Can we create a free atmosphere around the polling station that will allow every voter to feel at liberty to come? Because some of them are easily put off, like the elderly, like the women, and so on. They are easily put off by the hostile, charged environment at the polling station. We have noticed that. So please, that's why we are saying, if we are interested in a free and fair election, if we are interested in a process that is peaceful, and if we are trying to avoid, eliminate, or to prevent the possible disruptions that may arise because of so many people who support different candidates being gathered together. You don't even know what some of them are drinking. You see people coming with the plastic bottles. You don't know what stuff they have put there. We are saying, please, let us not cause unnecessary disruption. The law permits you, but be mindful of the current environment and what is likely to unfold if we are not very cognizant the issues that we have to address. Okay, this is very important. Listen to this. Someone asked, I think it was my brother Muhire from NTV. You are talking of the National Voters Register. You are talking of BVVK. You are talking of National ID. Then VLS. This is all confusing Ugandans. Which is which? Ladies and gentlemen, the law says for you to be a voter, You must be a registered voter. You must be on the National Voters Register. So the foundation of the exercise of one's constitutional right to vote is in the national, your presence on the National Voters Register. Are you a registered voter? Yes. Are you in the National Voters Register? Yes. Are you assigned a polling station? Yes. Now, this foundation gives rise to certain offshoots. One of them is the BVVK. That is an offshoot from the National Voters Register. Whoever is not on the National Voters Register will not be on the BVVK. If your particulars are not on the National Voters Register, they will not be found on the BVVK. That's a starting point. Secondly, if your particulars are not on the National Voters Register, when we are printing the voter allocation slips, you won't get a voter allocation slip because the voter allocation slip is derived from the data on the National Voters Register. Thirdly, the national ID is not issued by EC, it's issued by NIRA. It is issued to persons who are confirmed citizens of Uganda. And if that citizen at the time of registration was 18 years or above, then he or she indicated where that he's a willing or he or she is a willing voter. The particulars of that voter will be captured on the National Voters Register because the law permits us to do that. So when you come with your national ID, which has that barcode, we shall swipe it using this kit, and then you are confirmed that yes, you are a voter on the National Voters Register. But even then, the starting point is that you must be on the National Voters Register. So the National Voters Register is the foundation, and all these are just offshoots. So there's no confusion. I just wanted to make that. But these other things were introduced, like the VLOS, as I said, to expedite the process of identifying and confirming the voter. But if you come, you do not get your the VLOS, or you have lost your national ID, you will not be chased away. And as I said, the important thing is to say, I am Byabakama Mugenyi. This is why I voted from in 2021. Then the presiding officer will get the register, check for your name, if you are there on the register, gain the register, and if they confirm your name is in the register, then they will take you through the process of the BVVK, as I explained. It has been in the rules, in the regulations here. The voter that VLOS or national ID, this is what is going to happen. So the RACs, the basic record for you to be allowed to vote is the National Voters Register. So those who have VLOS, come. You have a national ID, come. You don't have any of those, come. But do you know that this is where are you a registered voter? And do you confirm that you are voting from this polling station? We shall check in the register. If you are not there, they will not be checked. But we have also said we are going to introduce a barcode in the National Voters Register against the name of every voter, so that if you say I'm Okelo James, they get the kit, swipe against the barcode against your name in the register, then your features will come up, and then you are confirmed. I think I've answered the issue. Yeah, the VLOS is being issued from RDC's office. I wish you could take me which district, tell us which district is that. Then we shall call our returning officer, because we have issued clear guidelines on how and who should distribute those VLOSs. It's not RDC, but our parish supervisors. They are the ones who are supposed to have those VLOSs, move with the register, with the book where the recipient of the VLOS is supposed to sign or thumbprint, confirming that I have received my VLOS. But if you tell us the district where you saw this taking place, please inform us. We shall call our returning officer to have that corrected. And we are going to tell them also, maybe to pass on more information to the public, informing them where they should get their voter location slips. Now, on the issue of people using the national flag, I must confess, as a commissioner, I have not addressed myself to that because I have not received any formal complaint or petition regarding the issue of people using that. But I see people using the national flag when they are going for football matches. I see them doing all those things, you putting on national flag and so on. I will have to look at the law critically and see what it says. But what I know, the law, I think, prohibits you, if you are registering a political party, you are not, if you are registering a political party, I think you are not supposed to use the national flag or the logo as part of your party paraphernalia or identity features. But on usability, day-to-day use, I think that one we have to study carefully and advise the country accordingly.